Happy Scorpio full moon. This full moon is happening on Monday, on May 12th, 2025, around 12:56 p.m. in the Eastern time zone. This chart is calculated based on New York. So the rising sign can change depending on where you are, depending on your location. So the full moon can happen on a different house, but overall the energies that I'm gonna talk about is it it applies to everyone. So yes, this is a big moon. This is the culmination point. Full moon is always a culmination point of a lunar cycle that starts with the new moon. The last new moon happened on April 27-ish, and that Taurus new moon that happened early degrees of Taurus, and that new moon of Taurus held a very strong energy, volatile energy. With the few days before the new moon, the Pluto Mars opposition was exact, and also Pluto squared the sun. Every time when Pluto is active, the theme of Pluto, which is the metamorphosis and alchemy and transformation, right? It's a bringer of endings and symbolic death. So we can start again, we can begin again, that we can reborn anew again. That theme, that Scorpionic, that Pluto theme is very strong because Pluto is a modern ruler of Scorpio. The classical ruler of Scorpio is Mars, and in Mars and Pluto, those are the two planets that rule Scorpio are still in engagement, like they're engaging with one another, right? Of course, they are far apart on a degree base, but Pluto and Mars are still in opposition sign base, right? Pluto and Aquarius, Mars, Leo, opposing from each other. So there is still a tension, lingering tension between like our will for change and some kind of energy that still holds us back, right? Pluto can bring up the energy of addiction or like intensity, right? Attachment, power control, power dynamic, obsession, right? So under this energy, it's really what we want to be obsessed about is our self growth and spiritual growth and our self evolution. That's very much of a strong theme of this Scorpio. But there is a very powerful fixed cross present. I just want to mention that in the beginning. So Scorpio is a fixed water sign. It is the sign, the fixed energies are the middle sign of each season. Taurus is the middle season, right? The springtime starts with Aries. Taurus is the blossoming point of the spring season, and with the Gemini energy, we move away from the late spring into early summertime. And the middle point of the summer is Leo. The middle point of the fall season is Scorpio. The middle point of the winter season is Aquarius. So there is a very strong fixated energy. They are very strong, stubborn, energetic archetypes, these four signs, right? And this Scorpio full moon is happening at 22 degrees of Taurus, 22 degrees and 13 minutes of that's the sun and the moon, right? Moon is at the 22 degrees, 13 minutes of Scorpio, opposing those energies of Taurus. And with the early degree within the early degrees of Taurus, there is Mercury there. Within the early degrees of Scorpio, there is this black moon Lilith and Vesta there. And the early degrees of those fire sign and air signs are that Mars and Pluto, they are creating a very potent fixed cross energy. And with that, this Scorpio moon opposes Uranus, right? Uranus is a key player. Sun is approaching to conjunct Uranus. And then they are just 4 degrees apart under this full moon. Full moon is already, right? Scorpio full moon, especially under Scorpio full moon, because Scorpio is the energy that reveals what is hidden, what is repressed, what is suppressed. Scorpio rules our psyche. And then with that Scorpio moon, black moon Lilith, that represents the darker shadow aspects of our psyche, what's repressed, suppressed deep within us, within our psyche, old trauma, old, um, you know, some kind of the the fear or darkness or something that we kind of repressed and suppressed. I said it already, but like we wanted to kind of hide it. We didn't want to deal with it. We didn't want to face it. Whatever that energy is purging out. It's just kind of like exploding under this kind of a fixed cross. This can hold this raw primordial energy, very explosive. It can be very eruptive energy. And then some kind of a little tiny trigger can bring up a lot out into the field. But I hope it's a necessary process of that purging that we are really doing under this full moon. The full moon is also always a time of culmination. So it's the point of purging and releasing and ending and cutting the cord and all of those kind of things. But also this revealing, right? The light gets shed on certain aspects of ourselves, or of our lives that was hidden in the shadow. It was tucked under something. This full moon can shed a light on that, and it can reveal something that has been hidden, um, emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, in all levels. Yeah. And this full moon, coming back to that energy of Uranus, Uranus is an energy of very eruptive, kind of lightning like energy, right? It's the lightning, it's the earthquake, it is the unexpected energy, something that can just press the button and things and conversation go in the wrong way, right? Uranus is like sudden spark of energy, and then it can manifest as a very positive, like awakening, revelation, and sudden insight and sudden aha moment. Uranus energy holds this very strong yearning for freedom, yearning to be set free, really. So this is the seeker of the true freedom, seeker to connect to that spirit that is free, that is always free within us, even though our mind can get caught up with all the scenarios of how bad our life can be, how crazy bad and chaotic how our life can be. On a spirit level, there is this true sense of freedom that is always coexisting within us, whether we are aware or not, or whether we are capable of connecting to it or not. But under this full moon, there is this strong surge and urge for that kind of breakthrough. Big breakthrough energy is present with us. And that Scorpio energy is all about transformation, right? Scorpio energy is all about death, rebirth, transformation. It is all about alchemy, turning that darkness into light, turning and molding something, right? The pressure is required to make diamond. We need mud to let the lotus to blossom. That kind of maybe density and congealed energy can be present with us. We may feel pressured. We may feel some kind of very strong urge and desire and yearning, right? Scorpio rules our reproductive system and it governs our kind of a Svadhisthana chakra, our sacral chakra area, even though chakra system do not belong to our physical body. It belongs to our etheric body and etheric energy bodies, but it still has a very strong connection to that sacral energy because we hide, right? We hide our genital area. That's our private area. We hide certain themes of death, sex, addiction, taboo, right? All those are the scorpionic themes, right? It can be associated with eighth house within the wheel of astrology. All those energy, density, of the dark. I'm not saying dark as bad, dark as the source of all creation, some kind of like a hidden energy. We can never see psyche, we can never see our spirit, but within the most subtle aspects of our being, there is power, right? So that kind of like this primordial information, ancestral information of who we are, I feel like is coming to the surface more because this full moon can be a very pivotal moment of awakening. Something is trying to awaken us. Something is really trying to set us free. Something is trying to raise our awareness, raise our vibration, and pull us up into the higher realm of ease and peace, not on a just a surface level, but really from that depth level. And that depth can hold anger, it can hold frustration, it can hold all the kind of energies that our mind may feel like this is the dark spell that's casted upon us. Sometimes our emotions can make us feel like that because it's hard to break free when we get triggered and then when we get pulled down into that dark black hole of deep emotions and deep feelings and thoughts and all those kind of energies. But we are choosing to use that energy to alchemize something deep within us now. It's not that one aspect of ourself is good and the other aspect is bad. We are bringing those opposing forces that I see within this chart, opposing forces together to channel this raw primordial energy and then channel and then harness our ability to channel it to create something brand new, to create the new self, to create the new path, to create the new chapter we are ready to step into, right? This is a very strong energy of like a free expression on a next level authenticity, next level like expressing however way that we want and don't feel bad about it in a way because that's kind of our freedom. I, we don't want to do that to the point of harming nobody else, but under this energy of this fixed cross, and not only this fixed cross, but there is this energy of Black Moon Lilith and Vesta in conjunction with each other. Black Moon Lilith does represent our psyche, the most dark aspects of our psyche. There is no light that exists in there, right? So the some kind of a secret or some kind of a trauma, like I said, can be associated with it. But Vesta is a sacred flame, devotion to God. It's like the fire of God, fire flame of God. We are the fire keepers, right? Can we find ourselves as the fire keepers of God? That is that practice of devotion, that is the practice of dedication. There is a strong will, again, to break free. This is the will for self-improvement. Like it's the will for growth and expansion and peeling off the old skin of ourselves and old identity, old feelings, old thinking patterns, old karma. We are ready to shed the skin and burn them in this God's fire. And then we are ready to rise from our own ashes, right? Vesta and Lilith talking with Pluto and Mars. And under this full moon, right? Within 1 hour, Pluto and Mercury will be in perfect square. So they're already in square, right? 3 degrees of Mercury in Taurus and 3 degrees of Pluto recently went retrograde. Pluto is barely moving still since it went retrograde. So it holds another density. Pluto is sitting still and gathering the force of the alchemy and metamorphosis and transformation. So with those planets aligning with Pluto, right? Mercury, fast moving Mercury. And then the Mercury will be a very powerful force under that next new moon, Gemini new moon. And there is swiftness. There is a change happening. There is big change happening this month, later this month. And then this is just the final culmination point. This is the ending point of an old chapter. Really, we've been writing this ending of one chapter theme for month and month. But one reason why I say is because of this Saturn too, right? Saturn is still close in conjunction with the North Node. There was a lot of concentration energy at late degrees of Pisces in March, April. Venus was there, Mercury was there in retrograde. They were like triple conjunction, and we were trying to cut the cord, right? Tearing up the old soul contract so that we can start writing a new story. Now, Saturn is still with North Node and Ceres also. Ceres is an asteroid that represents the caring of the self, the nourishing and nurturing aspects of ourselves. And Ceres in Pisces is really about nourishing our spirit and conjunct and really be merged with our spirit. Like I said, this holds this very strong energy of awakening because there is such a spiritual energy present. And this is the final lunation before Saturn ingresses into Aries. This is the huge deal next new moon, under next new moon that happens on May 27th or something, 26th, 27th. Saturn will be in Aries. Saturn is approaching to ingress into Aries on the 24th next week, May 24th. Saturn will ingress into Aries. This is, right, Aries point is the beginning point, right, resetting point. And Neptune has been sitting at early degrees of Aries since Neptune ingressed into Aries on March 30th. Now, Saturn is about to follow it and come into a very strong conjunction energy between Neptune and Saturn. They're not going to come into exact conjunction until the February of 2026. But Neptune and Saturn comes within a degree over this early June, July time. Saturn Neptune conjunction happens only once in 36 years. And no other time within our history, really, I don't know, I didn't, you know, look deep enough to go through that. But I know that Saturn and Neptune came together last time in Aries was 1700 at some point, but they were not in conjunction at 0 degrees of Aries. They're gonna come into exact conjunction at 0 degrees next year. That is a huge deal, huge energy shift, right? At that 0 degree Aries point, the reset point, rebirth point of the collective Saturn, collective Neptune energy coming together. Something new is about to emerge. And then as Saturn ingresses into Aries, the last time Saturn was in Aries was 1996. So this is the 30-year cycle reset point. Whatever that was happening in 96, if you were alive, around that time, this whatever the energy that we were carrying since then, maybe because of that certain trauma, maybe because of certain thing that was happening in our earlier childhood or in our earlier time of our lives, that formed a certain identity, mental patterns, emotional patterns, and we've lived with that for the last 30 years. Now, as Saturn ends one cycle and dips into Aries, this is the first beginning point because Saturn will ingress back into Pisces in a full time in 2025. But this is the first initiation point into stepping into the new chapter, new field, brand new field. And then we are ready to start writing that new, claiming the new identity, claiming a new chapter, right? New world, new earth, all of that. So this is the final full moon while Saturn is in Pisces, and this Saturn is speaking with the moon in trine, right? In trine energy is the 60 degrees apart. If you have any planets in late degrees of Cancer, it is creating a water grand trine with that Cancer energy. But still, right, even if you have that or not, moon speaking with Saturn, moon speaking with Ceres, moon speaking with North Node, there is will. There is a strong intention from our psyche, from our spirit. I want to feel liberated. I want to break free. I am ready to start living in a new self, new chapter, new life that is expanding and that is taking us into that freer, greater, higher, those higher, greater, those are the mental constructed idea of what's good and bad and all of that. But like this is about us returning back to our true archetype of who we are. We are whole and complete already. And this is a time that we're claiming that. We're going to start living in that. We're going to find every trillions of cells in our body is vibrating on that frequency of extreme joy and complete happiness and bliss, all of that, right? And then our mind gets in a way, and then we get triggered, and we go angry and frustrated and all the dramas that we can face in life, but still keep coming back to that intention, our spirit intention, our higher mind intention, that to say, no, I'm bigger than that. I'm more than this drama. I'm bigger than this stress that I'm facing in life. I know that I'm more than that. I know I'm capable of creating something, some kind of a reality that I can feel more safe and grounded and abundant, and where I feel love in every aspect of my life. Yes, it is here. And then I choose to vibrate on that frequency so that I can create that more smoothly and more with ease, right? Because whatever vibration that we are vibrating is that vibration that is creating our own reality. So this is the moment that we are choosing. This full moon is a time of choice. This is a choice that we are choosing to live, choosing the happiness. Happiness is not out there that we're trying to reach. Happiness is here, and then happiness is a choice. Happiness is a choice that we choose to see and live in it. And then, our mind can create all those reasons why we cannot be content and unhappy because of this, because of that, because of this, problems, stress, all the reasons why we feel we're not there yet, we're not complete yet, all those things. This is a time that we want to let go of that mind and align our mind, Mercury, with Pluto. This is the square. This is the breakthrough. This is the big purging of the illusions and delusions created by our ego-driven lower mind. And this is the moment that we want to stay plugged into that higher mind of dedication, of will, of devotion to self, devotion to our own spirit, to be liberated and to be breaking free. This is a huge energy. And then with that, one last thing that I forgot to mention is that this full moon creates a yod aspect with Jupiter and Chiron. Chiron is with Aries. Aries is like a warrior goddess archetype, very rebellious, very strong divine feminine archetype. Those two energies are in square with one another, speaking with the moon to create a finger of God. Finger of God, golden finger of God. This is an aspect of Yod aspect. But golden finger of God is pointing a finger to this moon. And then what is the energy aligning with this skinny triangle is the Jupiter and Chiron. Jupiter and Chiron has been speaking with one another for months and months because excuse me, because Jupiter was in retrograde. Jupiter came out of retrograde, but Jupiter has been moving slow. Now Jupiter is out of shadow finally, and it's gonna be picking up speed, and Jupiter will ingress into Cancer on June 9th. And then it's a great omen because Jupiter is not happy in Gemini. Jupiter is a ruling planet of Sagittarius. So Jupiter is up in a full position in Gemini. Jupiter in Gemini can get a little confusing in the mind. A lot of pros and cons and good and bad and too much curiosity, too much information, too much like noise in the mind, and we get confused, we feel lost, and we feel just scattered. But when Jupiter moves into Cancer on June 9th, it's a great energy. Jupiter loves to be in Cancer. So great, whatever we had a difficulty, especially in the house of Cancer, and then a lot of whatever, like great energies coming our way. And right, even this, I said this is the final lunation. Oh no, no, I meant this. Okay, let's stick to this yod, the finger of God with Jupiter and Chiron. So Jupiter and Chiron speaking to each other. There is something that is trying to heal us. Jupiter and Chiron are two energetics archetype which holds a very powerful spiritual power. Spiritual power of Chiron is that Chiron holds the energy to turn all the pain into power. And then the Jupiter is whatever Jupiter touches expands, right? It's the god of the sky, it's the king, it's the abundance, it's the rejuvenation, it's the expansion. There is a very strong will present with us. There is a strong will that we each are feeling. I am ready to turn this shitty pain, shitty trauma. I've done with it. Like that's the will that we want to hold. I've done talking about this childhood trauma. I'm done thinking about this past thing. In a way, I think we can we can get stuck. We can get lost in the past as long as we're dwelling onto that, right? As long as we're dwelling onto the shadow expands. As long as we dwell onto the past, we get lost in the mind. The spiritual truth is we only have the eternal here and now, right? Certain conditions and certain situations of the past create who we are, but we gotta claim our power as God, the creator, that we're bigger than that. Whatever had happened in the past, we're more than that. We're bigger than that. We're more powerful than that. If we claim that power and then hold a strong intention for change, and now change that is happening in every single moment holds infinite potentiality for change completely. Complete change can be happening in the spirit realm like that. Swift shift, swift change is with us now. And then we want to claim it. And then let our mind complain, let our mind say, oh, this is because of that happened in my life. Oh, my life is crazy because of that, because of that. No, we cannot do that. We can never be a victim if we were God. We don't have to, we cannot dwell on those excuses that our mind presents. No, we have all the power to transform and change at any given moment. And we need to claim that. And we want to connect to it. This is a powerful time. We want to focus on the committed spiritual practice to break the karma, meditate, mantra, chant, whatever that we can do, right, for that time that Saturn is moving into Aries. Then do a once in a 30-year transit to reset something at the 0 degrees point of Aries. And then next week, the Sun and Uranus will come together on the 17th, I believe. Yeah. So when it gets to the point of the sun, a wait, sun is coming to conjunct. Sun is coming to conjunct the Uranus on the 17th. At the That is the final time. Oops. It's the final time that we are coming. Yeah, this is a huge one, but 27 degrees, they're coming together, right? This is the final conjunction of the Sun and Uranus. This is the final one. Since 2018, Uranus has been in Taurus. Since 2018. This is the final one, final chapter point of the past 7 years. Uranus takes about 84 years to go around the Sun. So every 7 years, Uranus moves into a new sign. And since 2018, Uranus has been in Taurus. Uranus has stirred up a lot of themes in Taurus. But now we are concluding, first conclusion, because Uranus will dip back into Taurus again later this year. But Uranus will dip into Gemini on July 7th, right? Jupiter, June 9th. Uranus, July 7th, Saturn, May 24th. Okay, this is the culmination point of this year. This 2025 is an epic year because all those outer planets are moving into a new sign. And then we're all in it. We are all in the flex of energy of change. They are leaving, right? The 7 years, 8 years, Uranus has been in Taurus. And now it's ready to go into a new sign to start something new. The in the Gemini house. So the right in Uranus in Taurus, currency, money, themes of cryptocurrency, and then all those digital things, everything became more digital because Uranus brought some innovation and a new technology and an evolutionary change because Uranus does represent futuristic vision, new excitement, like something new, right? So it shifted a lot in that Taurus energy. Now, when Uranus moves into Gemini, more digital era, more AI, more thing, right? We cannot hold ourselves back because Uranus will align with Pluto too, as Uranus dips into Gemini, and it's more fast-paced change, meaning that process of awakening, process of liberation, all those spiritual awakening can be happening more quicker than ever too, right? In the past, maybe people had to sit in the mountain for month and month and fasting and all those kind of things. Wasn't it required to get to that point of awakening? These days, it's shifting. We're in a different time zone. We're in a very accelerated, fast-paced change, and in all levels, not just the physical, mental, information-wise, and spiritual-wise too. Everything is speeding up, and something is happening in a much quicker pace. So we want to kind of hold a will for change again and again, and then we wanna come back to that. So this energy of that Sun Uranus conjunction is kind of a highlight of this whole next week, because this week starts with the full moon, and when we get to that 17 point, and then it in conjunction, revelation, new awakening energy, and the moon at the point will trine too. That's a great energy. But before that, the one last thing that I wanted to mention was that even under this current, let's even come into, yeah, this is the full moon energy, right? So even under this energy, no, this is not the full moon energy. Under this full moon on the 12th, under this energy, or we already under one last energy that we have, is that Mars and Venus are speaking to each other in a very harmonious way this month. And at this point, Venus, under the full moon, Venus is at 8 degrees and Mars is at 11 degrees. So there is this only 3-degree apart and 60-degree trine with each other. Trine is the square. This is very harmonious energy, right? After Mars went through the retrograde in Cancer and all the craziness and heaviness and hectic turmoil of chaotic energy that Mars has brought up since the end of last year, even up to early this year. And Venus went through the retrograde since early March 1st, I remember. And then it went through the retrograde, met up with Saturn multiple times, 3 times, all that craziness. Now, Venus and Mars are moving in a very harmonious way in trine. And because Venus is just picking up a speed, Venus usually moves much faster than Mars, but Venus is about to come out of shadow. When it gets to the 10 degree, I think on the 15th, this week, Mars, Venus will come out of its post retrograde shadow finally. But even that, they are gonna be talking to each other in a very harmonious way this month. So we want to focus on the new project, new creative project. That new creative project can be our creating a new self, new personality, new self, new project, new art piece, new paintings, new sound, new song, new thing that we cook or whatever, right? We want to focus on that creative spirit of something new. And they're gonna come exact together on May 25th. May 22nd, I believe. May 22nd, yes, Venus and Mars come together. Sun will be in sextile with Neptune by then, right? Next week is going to be Sun moving into Gemini. Energetic shift will start to happen. But this energy is a powerful energy that we want to choose to stay focused on whatever the project that we want to expand. We want to expand our spirit, or we want to expand our mind. Our spirit is always expansive and free and eternal. And our mind is the only energy that keeps us stuck, so heavy and dense and all that. But we want to keep cracking our mind open and keep aligning our mental energy frequency with the energy frequency of God within, the spirit within, ever expansive, just like the universe. The universe is ever expanding and our spirit is ever expanding. We want to be the current of the force. It's not about ride with, you know, like ride with the flow. It's rather than riding with the flow of whatever comes, go along, but be the flow, create the flow that serves you well, and march on your own rhythm and stay focused on that energy that sets us free. That's all about this full moon that I see in my own, through my own perception, and I hope this serves you well somehow. And I'm wishing you a very powerful um purging. It's not about even purging, it's just kind of like emerging through that purge, through that symbolic death. We emerge, our truth emerges when the outer shell cracks and some things fall apart. Let it fall apart so that we can connect to the gem, the diamond, the divine spark of light that is radiating so deep within us. And it's time for that light to shine so bright, and may we be the frequency vibration of that joy and peace and ease and love, and may that frequency always guide us every single moment, and be it, and let us spread that and to change the frequency of the world together. Yes, 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 yes. Thank you so much for listening. Peace.